What's up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I'm going to go over the trades that we took today inside the Discord, as well as the game plan going into tomorrow. So this is what we looked like off of open when it comes to SPY. So off of open, when we pull up the 30-minute, you guys know going into today, the market was bearish. And if I could find the right contracts, that would be great. We flipped to the puts here on the SPY contracts, but we got the 640s, right? 640 puts right here. We go to the 30-minute. You guys know this tells us the trend in the market, and I told you guys going into today the market was bearish, and I still did favor the downside. We did have some news before open which really didn't do much to the market, so with that being said, the market was still bearish, and our focus is on the downside because this 10 is above the 50. Yesterday we closed right here at the 50 SMA. That ended up marking the top, and you can see what happened. We ended up getting a dump off of open, pulled back a little bit, and then we saw some more continuation to the downside. How would you play this? So go to the 0-day chart now. This is where we get our entries intraday for SPY. We come here on the 5-minute time frame. We had the 635 puts for today, and it was a little bit of a choppier action throughout the day. Afternoon we caught a good trade, but right off of open, this did look really nice for a cross. I'm not gonna lie, I thought we were gonna go on cross right here, but I didn't realize the news at 10 o'clock was gonna be so drastic. I actually did take this. It moved. I was up like 40% at one point, and it ended up wicking down. And when I came back down under my entry, I just got out because of how like funky the candle looked. I was in, I think, when these contracts were probably around like 115, I'd say 115, 120. And then we had this big wick up in here, and that's where I was up like 40%. And then once this ended up wicking back down and the 50 turned down, I got out. There was no point to stay in this trade. So that was unfortunate. I just didn't expect that 10 a.m. news to really do that much to the market. And of course, we never got the cross right there. So that was unfortunate. And then all you had to do was wait for the puts to cross again, and you can see every time we tap that 50, we reject. Again, this is not a trade that you would take, though. You don't play this rejection at the 50 on the puts when the market overall is trending on the put side. So you wait for the puts to cross, and then that's your entry point. So 10 went above the 50. I entered this on this candle right in here, or no, I think it was this candle. After we held the 50 right here, I got in, and I saw that we're holding the 50, so I'm like, okay, this is a very low risk trade because one, puts cross, we're at the 50 SMA, which is our key support area on puts, and if we do close below it, I'll hop out. If we stay above the 50, I'm in. We stayed above the 50, and we got a big move out of it. I was up like 110, 115% at one point on the 0DT contracts, and once we started to wick a little bit, I just got out of the remainder of the position for like 70%. Did feel like holding it. It was already a good move, so that was that when it comes to SPY. It's very simple. When we have that 30-minute trend on the put side, you're only focused on the shorts. You don't want to be playing longs at all. There's just no point to. So, that 30-minute chart tells us how to play the 0-day charts. So, that's why the system's great. When we have some trend, you know what side to focus on, and, it's pretty simple. You just wait for the 10 SMA across the 50. We got it right here. Got a good move out of it, and, that was that. If you tried buying this 50 dip, that obviously didn't work. I wouldn't have bought this dip, though, because you could see this 50 SMA ended up turning down right here, and that's where, you don't want to be buying the 50 dip. The 50's got to be level or curling up, preferably curling up. It was up until this candle formed right here. So when we came down to hit the 50 was already turned down. So that wasn't a dip I'd buy. And then obviously this chart went negative, but you're not taking this negative cross on the puts. There's no reason to, because we know the overall trend is bearish, and if anything, this is more likely to come and cross back up, which never did, but it was more choppier into the close. But that's pretty much how you would play SPY going into tomorrow. I'm still 30-minute here is still cross bearish. Obviously, I think we have some news events tomorrow, so who knows what that's gonna be like. But based on the charts right now, I still favor down. There's really nothing bullish about these charts. The 1 hour is just crossing here, and then if we go to the 2 hour, we are at the 50. We are gonna get new contracts out tomorrow, because you guys know on Fridays we pick next week's out expiration, because these are gonna be the 0DT charts tomorrow. So when we have that 0DT chart, on Fridays, we roll out to the next Friday so that we could gauge the overall trend, because using the 0DT chart on the 30-minute isn't ideal. You don't want to be doing that because the theta is going to be wacky with the contracts, and it's just not what you want to be doing. For the system, we go 1 week out contracts on for the Fridays, then we repick the contracts on Mondays. So that's how we gauge the trend in the market. Obviously next week's are going to be crossed, but yeah, for SPY, still bearish. 0DT crossing puts is the play for tomorrow. If for some reason we get a fat pump and this chart goes negative, or the next week's contracts go negative, 10 crosses below the 50, then obviously you'd be open to taking a call cross. So that's the plan tomorrow for SPY. When it comes to individual stocks, this is what we looked like today. So we ended up taking Tesla. So I'm swinging this into tomorrow because Tesla looks really good. If we go to Tesla, this is a really good looking chart, and this was such a low risk trade. So this has like really good potential to run like 200% tomorrow because it is 0DTs. You guys know on Fridays, all stocks have 0DT contracts because the Friday expirations. Tomorrow is Friday, so when we pull up Tesla here, the 325s, look where we closed at. I mean, this is perfect entry here at the 50 SMA. Call this out. We're up 30% at the close. I'm swinging them into tomorrow. This chart just looks really good for downside. I mean, you can see every time we pull back to this 50, it's a key support area on the puts. And right here, 50 is even curling up, which makes it a really good entry point. I entered on this candle. I think the contracts were sitting around like 550 when I entered these, and we got a nice dump into close. Contracts were up like 35%. So I'm swinging those into tomorrow, and I'm not looking to sell until we're at least over 100% because when we have the 0DT contracts, they move a lot faster. You don't need as much of a move on the underlying on Tesla for it to like move the contract. So I'd expect 150, 200% honestly if we do continue with this trend on Tesla. I mean, it's a really good looking chart. Bought the dip at the 50. There was really nothing else throughout the day to take an entry on. I like it. 1 hour's crossing, 50's up. 2 hour, not so hot. We had that 2 hour 50, but the 2 hour 50 is not something that I really look at too much. I'm not really concerned about it. It's more so this 4 hour 50. If we come up and hit this, then that'd be a good spot to pretty much sell it all at. But yeah, Tesla's a really good looking short. And then when it comes to other stocks, I really don't have any other ones on my watch list because everything kind of just dumped. And this is just an example of Microsoft the other day. Look how clean this 30-minute chart was. Very big move. All you're doing is playing across of the SMAs, and you get a very, very fat move out of it. Apple. I know this was one that I was eyeing for longs, but it really all depends on the market. I mean, I still haven't taken an entry on this just because we know the market's bearish, so I'm not going to be tossing any longs on the table when we know that the market's bearish. So, Apple is sitting at a very key spot right now. It's this 50 SMA. Doesn't look the best just because the 50 SMA is curled down. So, if the market does, let's say, the bears lose the trend, I would 100% be looking to long Apple just because of this monthly chart. It's crossed, looks really good. But again, I'm not fading the higher time frame trend on SPY. When SPY's or not the higher time frame trend. When we have the weekly trend on SPY and it's bearish, I'm not going to be looking to really take any longs on individual stocks. That's kind of how you want to go about it. When the market's trending bullish, that's when you want to focus on the bullish stocks on the 30-minute. We get those 30-minute call crosses, and then when the market's bearish, you want to be focusing on the 30-minute put crosses on individual stocks. So you don't want to be playing calls on individual tickers when the overall market is bearish on the 30-minute for SPY. So that's kind of how you navigate that and know when to focus on one side versus the other. So if we did if the market did bounce hard, I'd be looking for Apple to get an entry, but for now I'd stick to shorts. So that's why I went with Tesla today. Like I said, this is a very, very good looking setup. It's all because 30-minute is crossed and we pulled back to this key support here on the 30-minute. It's very simple. We're just buying this 50 SMA tap, and stop loss is a closure below it. I like this going into tomorrow. Hopefully we could catch a good move out of it. I forget what other setup I was thinking of, but I'm not sure if I have another one. FSLR, I'm not sure what happened. Yeah, there's no entries that, obviously the market's bearish. I wouldn't be looking for entries on FSLR, but yeah, Tesla's really the setup that I'm eyeing up for tomorrow that we're in. But yeah, that's pretty much all I got. If you guys enjoyed, drop a sub. If you guys want to learn, join the Discord down below. But yeah, that's all I got. I'm out. Peace.